Hi, my name is Caitlin Keith, and I am a traveling physical therapist working as an independent contractor. I wanted to come on and share a little bit about my experience working with EmpowerX and how they helped me start my own successful independent contracting company. When I first graduated school about 4 years ago, I worked at a clinic back in Kansas, where I'm from, for about a year and a half as a permanent therapist. After a while, I decided that I was ready to hit the road and explore a little bit more of our country, and so I just set my sights on Alaska. I worked with a traveling company at the time. They found me a great job in Ketchikan, Alaska. I ended up extending 3 times because I loved it so much, but then decided that it was time to move on. So I worked with another traveling company and got a job in Hawaii for 4 months this last winter. It was amazing. It was great. But I always knew that I had this middleman taking money out of my paycheck. But again, they did help me find those jobs. So I was grateful for the opportunity and for their support. However, I kind of decided that I wanted to continue being a traveling therapist, but I also wanted to be able to go back to places that I had been before and work with those companies again, or be able to go back to Kansas, to my hometown, where I had these relationships and these businesses and these clinics that I knew wanted my help and would need my help seasonally, but I didn't want to have to go through a traveling company in order to work for a company that I already knew and had a relationship with. So it was when I was in Hawaii, I started thinking, what if I kind of went out on my own? So one day I was listening to one of my favorite PT podcasts, a little bit for them, New Medical Nomads podcast, and they just happened to have an episode with EmpowerX, talking about how to become an independent contractor as a physical therapist or a nurse. I listened to every second of that podcast, and I went back, there's 2 of them, and I listened to both of them again and was just taking notes. And I have no business savvy. I have none. I have no financial savvy, but I have the desire to learn. But I knew that I would need some help. I had no idea how to start up a business. I had no idea what I needed to do or taxes or what this would mean for anything, nothing. But listening to MK and Freddie and Eric talk about how they can help, how it really isn't as scary as it seems if you have the right support, if you have a right plan, I immediately knew if I'm going to do this, I want these people to help me. So I checked out their website and messed around with it for a while. It looked really great. It looked really professional, and I reached out to them. And immediately, I was so glad I did. I got to know MK really well right away. We did a one-on-one, just kind of meet and greet video, just to make sure it was even something that would work for me based on my goals and my plan. So it was just like a quick little thing to make sure that this is even the right step for me. So that felt really good, that they really wanted to get to know me, where I had been, where I am, and where I wanted to go. And then what specialties I had and what my plan was. And she immediately was like, bam, you sound like a great candidate. You sound like you've got the right ideas. And she made a completely personalized roadmap for me based on where I wanted my business to be based out of, which is Kansas. So she did all the hard work for me. Thank you, MK. She was like, you need to go to this website. You need to go to this website. Here's the link here. You need to sign up for this. After you get this, then do this. And I'm that kind of person. Like, I need somebody to break it down for me. I can do anything that you ask, but I just need to know what to do. And I would have not known that I needed to sign up for this taxing or kind of get this. But again, it was a few basic steps. There was check-ins. She kind of gave me deadlines like, hey, why don't you try to do these couple of things, and then we'll chat again in a couple weeks. And it really helped me kind of stay on top of things. And if I had any questions, she was able to answer them. But if she wasn't able to or didn't feel comfortable, she was like, this is the person you need to talk to. Any questions about tax, she referred me to Joseph Smith of Travel Tax. Any questions about financial things, she referred me to an accountant. So I always felt like if she couldn't answer my question, she would help me find the answer. I also got to talk to Eric several times on the phone, which was great because he is working as an independent contractor right now as a nurse. So he was like, this is how I set up my company. This is what works for me, but maybe this is what will work for you. And it was great being able to talk to someone that was kind of in the trenches, and they really just supported me. I felt like I got to know them really well as just like a friend too. I could text them when I needed to and call them, and they checked in on me, and it was just really great. So I was able to get my business, Keith Therapy and Wellness, LLC, up and running and used it right away. I decided to go back to Kansas, where I'm from, just to be home for a couple of months. I was able to work with 2 clinics that I have worked with before and go work through them as my own independent contracting company. So it was really great. I was basically like a PRN therapist, but you can also sign it, set it up any way that works best for you and the company. And it was only for 4 months. And so I really got my feet wet. I got it figured out. I got to work with companies I trusted. They were really happy to see that they were able to work directly with me and not have to worry about going through a travel company or paying to get me out of a contract or something like that. And then the great part is that now I'm back in Ketchikan, Alaska. I'm actually here right now. And I was able to go back to the clinic and say, I'd like to come back. And they wanted me to come back. And I said, here's my bill rate and all of this, and I will provide all these. It's basically like they're working with a traveling company, but they're working directly with me. So I can also take out that middleman of somebody who's taking out of my paycheck. I figure in everything I need for rent and meals and housing and travel and all of that, but still I get a way bigger piece of the pie. And now I get to things that I've never thought about, like tax deductions and business deductions. I can figure that in, and there's so many benefits to being a small business and as far as taxes go. And I was able to get all those questions answered, and I feel really comfortable now knowing what is a business expense, what I can deduct, what will benefit me, how I should structure things. Again, these are things I knew nothing about, but I was able to learn, and both from EmpowerX and then just other people that they put me in contact with. So I am so grateful for them, because as an independent contractor now, I can kind of bounce back to places I've been before. I can reach out to places and be able to negotiate with them directly as far as what my bill rate is. I can be flexible with that. There's no set timelines. A couple of the things is I did have to get my own liability insurance, and I did get my own health insurance. But again, both of those 2 things, that were on my roadmap for things that they helped me figure out, and were all part of my process. There's nothing that they haven't thought about. There's nothing that they won't put on that list to help make sure that you've got everything covered. So I am so grateful for their help and just their friendship and really helping me become more independent. And it's so wonderful, like just knowing that I'm kind of working for myself now. You kind of feel pretty empowered about that. I'm so grateful for working with a traveling company and kind of getting my feet wet and knowing the travel industry. But now that I know it better, and I want to keep coming back to these places where I already have a relationship, it's perfect because they work directly with me now, and that's just more money in my pocket. So grateful for MK, Eric, and Freddie. And if you're on the fence about whether or not you want to become an independent contractor, reach out to them. Do the 45-minute consult. It's worth your time, and it's worth looking into. If you have any other questions about it, I would refer you to the New Medical Nomads podcast. I'm not sure what episode it is. It came out in like December of 2018. I put it in my headbuds or in my earbuds and listened to it on the beaches of Hawaii, and it was really fun to listen to. And you'll never know until you try, and maybe you'll learn some new skills that you never thought you could and feel more empowered, and that's what I feel right now. So thanks, guys, and have a great day.